Yeah, what's up, Triple B? Yeah, my big long Joe Joyce preview. I'm gutted, man. I'm doing some good content, as they say, some good videos. But I'm not getting paid for any of this. Something like half hour, we get some nice cash money. I mean, not big cash money, but that disgusting pig stole the Triple B's rent money and Tyson's food money. Scumbag. Wait till you see what happens. Okay. Revenge dish best served cold, and this one gonna be cold. Anyways, yeah. So on the undercard, I hadn't talked about the undercard fights. Luckily, as I said, that whole horse-faced, not shark, Michaela Myers out of the question against. Oh no, she's fighting against someone called Lucy Wildheart. They brought in someone called Lucy Wildheart. She's from Sweden, allegedly. I can only assume she married an English guy. I don't care about that. I can give a rat's belly's ass about that. Lucy Wildheart, kind of cool name, but it sounds a bit like, a porno star name. And I got no respect for them skets, disgusting people like that degenerate pig Ebony Bridges. But anyway, yeah, the undercard. So, obviously we all know the Big Bang Juggernaut main event is the highlight of the year, or at least the month anyway. Undercard, Denzel Bentley, he's Kieran Smith. That's actually a decent fight. Bentley's a big favourite, I think, by about 6-1 on favourite. Smith is one loss and to Troy Williamson. But he's a decent boxer. I don't see it. I mean, Bentley performed well in losing in his last fight, but I don't see. Smith, I can see, has been tricky. Let's put it that way. I don't think it's a bad fight. Sam Noakes is fighting some, I don't know, Indian guy? Is that Indian guy? Some Indian guy who's unbeaten. I don't know if he's any good. Probably not. Again, that'll be interesting to watch. Then we got Moses. The main one that interests me on the undercard is Moses Itauma. Now, obviously, it's because there's a lot of hype around this guy, yeah? And he was pointing out to me when he's still 17. I didn't do the video on him. I should have done. But as someone said, so we check this guy out. Yeah, he's the next big player. I was like, okay, have a look. And I was like, wow, man, he was 17. Don't get me wrong, he fought only as juniors. And a lot of the guys he fought seemed to be, they had come into their man strength, like Huey Fury, still waiting. But they had, their bodies were still that slim kind of, they still had that boyish look, whereas Itauma had that solid, like, man look. He looks about 30, bruv. He looks about 30, even though he's 18 only. And all we hear about is that nonsense. Oh, every article about Moses, Enriko Itauma. I think he changed his name to Moses because he's a good Christian, so I appreciate that. But Itauma, every time he's made, is he gonna beat Mike Tyson's record for being the youngest heavyweight? It's boring, man. That's all they say. Itauma must be bored of it as well. Every interview. So, do you think you'll beat? And you see that, Itauma's face. He's one of them guys. He doesn't take foolishness or fools. He's quite deadpan, stone-faced guy, man. I'm sure he's bored of being asked that question all the time. He's very grown up for 18-year-old. As I said, I think he's 30. Anyway. Yeah, we don't have to hear that anymore. There's even a boxing news interview, and that's the opening, the opening point, whether or not he's going to beat Tyson. Shut up, man. The point is, he's going to be any good. Like I said, as soon as I saw him, I was like, this guy can bring something good. He's big. As I said, he got his man size, obviously very young. He weighed in at 200 and just under 250 pounds, 247. He's fighting a guy called Kostyantin Dobyshenko, something, Ukrainian dude. I'll get on to him in a minute, but Itauma weighed in. What you noticed about Itauma, right? Every time he's been weighing in, he looks in slightly better shape. He had a slightly, not podgy, but a fleshy look. Not out of shape look, but slightly fleshy look. Puppy fat, if you want, as they say in the game. But every time he weighs in now, he's getting leaner. They probably stuck him on the PEDs and good nutritions and stuff, and that was going to make a big difference, man. He's fighting this guy called Kostyantin Dobyshenko, who is an interesting guy, actually. He's only 6'1". He weighed 241 pounds. He looked fat. He did look like a fat pig, but that weight is a weight. He's been heavier than that. He's been lighter than that. He fluctuates the weight quite a lot. He was actually as low as 200 pounds in one fight, which is interesting. But okay, now this guy's got a poor record statistically. 9 wins by 6 by KO, 12 losses, but 0 times has he been stopped, and he's got an extensive amateur career. So that's actually a good fight for Itauma. Yeah? And they're going to go, oh, he's never been stopped as soon as Moses knocks him out in the first round. But actually, if you look deeper, right? So deeper, like passato tomate insieme, you will find out he went a distance to Jose Larduet of Cuba. I think he's from Cuba. Damien Kaniba from Poland. These are unbeaten prospects, by the way. Vladislav, not Vladimir Silenko. Are they brothers? I don't know. He went 10 rounds. 10 rounds with Andrei Rudenko. He went distance with the big punching. What's his face? Zan Kosubutsky. Okay, so he is obviously solid, or at least and knows how to survive. I very much doubt he's coming to win. He actually only lost a majority decision to Eric Pfeiffer, who's not the best in the world, but he's a decent boxer. So actually, this is nice. This is a very good fight for Moses. He's fighting a man who's 31, who's been around with some real tough guys. The question is obviously not will Moses Itauma win, but will he stop him? And it'll be a little bit, I think, they want him to stop him because then they could go, man, this guy's never been stopped. He's gone the distance with Jose Larduet, Damien Kaniba, blah, blah, Kosubutsky. And that's going to be the thing, And they're going to go nuts if Itauma stops. And I think he will. Why? I mean, it actually makes sense if you go the distance. I actually looked at the price, He's actually favourite. It's like 2-1 you get on distance. But it's I don't know. I'm thinking, right, he's been brought in to get beaten up, to give him a couple of rounds. I think I'll take him a few rounds. But he will start banging Dobyshenko. And despite the man's known toughness, I think he'll go over. It reminds me a bit of the Bruno days, the old Bruno. Itauma's leagues above Bruno, by the way, in terms of potential, yeah. And it's potential at this stage because Itauma's only really dealing with juniors, but he's been dealing very impressively. He reminds me of David Haye, a big version of David Haye, fast, hard shots, loose style, but a lot bigger. So I think he'll bang him. When that's the question. When Bruno, they started pulling guys that could half hold their hands up, and I had a Bruno book when I was young. It had every one of his fights up until before the Witherspoon fight, I think, and it was released as a book, and I read it several times. I knew all about his bum opponents, Lupe Guerra, bums like that. But when you're young, you read a lot about something you're really into. But they would always big up Bruno's next opponent. Oh, this guy's really dangerous. He's fought in world class. He's Scott Ledoux. He's fought a world champion. And then Ledoux's, he's durable, and he comes and gets blown out in 2 rounds, that kind of thing. So I think this is one of them kind of fights. Oh, they'll be bigging up Dobyshenko. Oh, he's so durable. And then he'll get knocked out. Having said that, I'm interested. Obviously, the main reason I'm interested because there's a lot of hype and deserved for Itauma. And I do want to see if it goes the distance, but yeah. For me, that's the second fight on the bill for me.